Now, it's time to turn on and tune in to get your full dose of proper dope news with Bill and MJ on the Pot Report.
Tonight, we take a look at the grossly confused politics of pot. It's the story of a plant that has served us for thousands of years.
Last century, governments began splitting one plant into two legal identities. The split was purely political, and confusion soon followed.
Policymakers in the 1970s defined hemp as a cannabis plant with 0.3% THC or less. Botanically speaking, there is no difference. Hemp is a political variety of cannabis sativa.
A single species suddenly had two names, one familiar and harmless, the other exotic and alarming. The public didn't know they were the same thing. That was the point.
Propaganda films, newspaper headlines, and political speeches blurred the line between drug use, crime, and the plant itself. The message was simple: cannabis equals danger. The plant's long history as a fiber and food crop was erased.
Hemp was a direct competitor to timber, petrochemical plastics, synthetic fibers, and pharmaceuticals. Lobbyists amplified the confusion, ensuring that hemp and marijuana were treated as one dangerous entity.
International treaties then solidified these flawed definitions. Countries that signed on inherited a rigid, scientifically inaccurate framework. The confusion became global policy.
Australia once encouraged hemp cultivation. Then, in 1937, it followed the US into prohibition without distinguishing between varieties. The country that once distributed hemp seed to the first settlers has now criminalized the same plant.
Decades of mixed messaging left people unsure about what hemp is, what marijuana is, whether hemp seeds contain THC, whether hemp can get you high, whether hemp and marijuana are different plants, why the law treats them differently, and why the definitions keep changing.
The confusion wasn't created by nature. It was created by policy, and reinforced by decades of fear, propaganda, and economic interests that made us believe the plant had an evil twin.
Laws treated all cannabis as if it were identical, ignoring the difference between raw and heated plant material. The result was a regulatory system built on fear rather than science.
When one plant is given two names, two legal identities, and two moral narratives, confusion is inevitable. People were told hemp is not marijuana, marijuana is not hemp, but they are the same species, except when they're not. This is how a simple plant became a bureaucratic puzzle.
The political split between hemp and marijuana has had real-world impacts. Farmers face strict testing and crop destruction if THC levels drift above 0.3%. Researchers struggle with regulations that treat all cannabis as a controlled substance.
Consumers misunderstand the nutritional and industrial uses of hemp. Policy makers inherit outdated frameworks that don't reflect modern scientific understanding.
As laws evolve and stigma fades, we're rediscovering what earlier generations took for granted. Hemp is a sustainable industrial crop and hemp seeds are a nutrient-dense food. The plant cannot be neatly divided into good and bad categories.
The politics of cannabis fractured public understanding for nearly a century. But clarity is returning as science, agriculture, and modern culture reconnect with the plant.
For generations, fear, law, and language split one plant into two identities. That confusion shaped policy, culture, and public belief. But the truth has always been simpler than the story we were told.
Hemp and marijuana are not two species. They are two stories, shaped by propaganda and shifting definitions. Understanding how we became confused is the first step toward a more honest, fact-based relationship with a plant that can serve humanity.